organization also is not going to jump into buying an AI solution without having a strategy. So there will be a lot of work inside the organization to try to define how to set KPIs to this investment that they are going to recommend the board to make on AI solutions. The fourth more important question here is into meaningful models that make sense to their customers. And that is when the sixth question is being applying AI on are very fair and simple cases. Cases where they have to deal with vast amounts of information and they need to help their civil servants sift through the information to make decisions, or the low-hanging fruit of a bot. So the use of AI is not that deep and innovative yet, because there's caution. And there's caution because experience has shown in these past 3 years that things can go wrong. These 5 examples over here are documented in a book on infringements of practice. The ingenuity of the use of AI to do wrong things. So this also applies for conditions for data annotators, which we know are is reality. Additional risks have to do with the use of AI for surveillance in public spaces in indiscriminated manner, or countries that are using AI for social scoring, given the dependency of citizens in information that is in their devices. There are great implications and serious implications if AI applications are not governed well at design, at development, and at deployment. And this is starting to become more clear for governments, and it's starting to become more clear to citizens. And therefore, we have an obligation, because we are in the sector, to make sure that the products that we develop meet these conditions of public trust. These risks are undeniable. We see news every day about uses of AI for impersonation, for child abuse, production of images that attempt against the safety of children, and the infringement of red lines. The risks of AI, the government entities and society are noticing that are not the same risks. As bad as they are not the same. They're more serious than the risks of dependency on social media, or the influence of social media and these discussions that we've had for the past 15 years. Therefore, the traditional methods of risk analysis on whether we adopt AI in our public sector entities, or in our schools, or in our hospitals, or in our different entities, is becoming a priority. So there is a goal. The goal is the pursuit of trustworthy innovation. So anyone who is in this room, of course, is innovative. They put their investment, they put their money, they had funders going in. How do we ensure that that innovation is trustworthy? And that's when the ethics come in. And ethics is not a lyrical concept. This has clear roots in decisions and commitments that are done across the world. Ethics and AI, this field, is organizations that you may want to go to have your system adopted, possibly will have an AI ethicist in addition to an AI governance expert. And this is because organizations are realizing that they are facing ethical dilemmas. The ethical dilemma between whether I am efficient operationally, or if I use this model and I put the wrong algorithm and the wrong design, I end up excluding members of my society in the product or in the services that I provide. Whether I prioritize accuracy, and therefore I want more data from my customers, or I prioritize privacy. I have a commitment to privacy. whether I want to be more accurate in the models that I then deploy, or I protect the data of my customers. So when I tell them that I'm going to use this data only for the purposes that I have told them, I do not sell my data to third parties. Whether there's an ethical dilemma if someone uses an LLM, knowing that it may have crawled and get intellectual property that is not theirs. The dilemma between wanting to be more secure by using facial recognitions in indiscriminate manner. So leaders and organizations are facing these ethical dilemmas. These ethical dilemmas are delaying their decisions to make purchases and to make investments. And we have to be very, very clear and aware about them. We have to help them negotiate these ethical dilemmas. We have to help them by increasing the public trust on the products that we develop. We all know, we have our data science teams, we know that there may be bias, a structural bias in the data that we ingest into our models, and that bias may not have come from within. It was from the data that we scraped from the web, from chats. But we have to have mechanisms to try to mitigate those biases once it comes in. The worst case would be that our developers are biased themselves, and they were biased to the design of the models. That's the worst thing. Bias also in representation. Are we just simply bringing models from the global north and trying to sell them to organizations that are located in the global majority countries? Is the data that is within those models representative of the locality, the region, and the context? Are we, when we evaluate how good our model is, prioritize accuracy and not fairness? Do we have mechanisms in place to define that our customers, where the data is coming from, where the data is going? Part of this interaction is to create this bias and the risks of the use of AI include also the privacy risks we discussed in a moment. So how we design our AI models and our AI systems matters. And matters because people, society, and the public sector care about justice and equity and transparency and explainability. They are going to ask us to be accountable when a model goes wrong. When everything goes fine, everybody wins. But when something goes wrong, who is accountable? The developer, the deployer, the data controller, the person who put the system, the user. Who is responsible? So how we design really matters. And it's also becoming more important and more prevalent and more noticeable to organizations that they cannot fully automate systems, that they're always going to be a human in the
Still
loop.
here, we had
And
a
human in the
good
loop means
conversation
that
about
organizations are
how
looking
we
to
can
AI
actually put in some
and
AI
understand how our models are
So
working,
let's
not only
proceed.
how to work. They want to know that the model